Hi everybody, I'm here reporting on today's 2-each draw in the friendly at Ibrox against Club Brugge. And usually I wait until the following day after a game to do my report, because by then I've watched my recording of the game and relived the good and the bad moments. Today I'm just doing it right away without having seen it back, just from my experience of being there, because it was so abysmal. To be frank, I don't really want to relive it. Let's just get out of the way. It was a pre-season friendly. We only had 2 weeks training. Some only had a week of training. So I'm hanging my hat optimistically on that point, that how can we judge people with such few minutes in the legs? And it was a good exercise to have a run out against a good team. But nevertheless, it was truly appalling, especially the first half. I mean, how disappointing was it for the newspaper said 29,000 were there today. Half of them seemed to be kids who were 5, 7 years old, that kind of thing. 2 rows in front of us just before kick-off, a guy came in carrying a baby's car seat contraption and made his way along the row, and just behind him there was Mummy with a kid who looked about 3 months old. So that's child cruelty. Come on, let's face it. You shouldn't be taking a baby that age to a match. How desperate are you to see Rangers? Just as well, the baby probably slept through most of the awful stuff that we had to watch in the first half especially. Bigger disappointment was all these various new signings, and the only one who started was the right back, Max Aarons. He was the only one that started. We had a central defensive pairing of Leon King and Robin Lurpak. What a disaster that could be. Who would ever want to see that ever again? Shefty at left back, keeper was Kelly. Midfield of Barron, Raskin, and Dowell. There's a face you don't want to see ever again playing for Rangers. And up front, magnificent. Finlay Curtis out in the right wing, Danilo in the middle, and Cortez in the left wing. A front line made not to score goals. So, terrible lineup. People disappointed right away. And give them their due, they didn't go on to disappoint us, because we're truly awful. Within about 12 minutes, we're 2 goals down. First one, the guy shot from about 14 yards out, and Kelly, well, you can either say did well to parry the shot, or you can say it wasn't a good save, because it bounced right back to the guy and he just fired it into the net at the second attempt. The second goal, we can't have any complaints. I think it was King headed it out of the box, and the guy just volleyed it from 20 something yards out. Top corner, world class goal. Can't complain about that. In fact, here's an indication. It was such a good goal. The Rangers fans actually applauded it. It was so magnificent. Contrast that with when half-time whistle went, and the so-called wonderful loyalists of the Union Bears and various people at that end of the ground actually booed the team off. So there's an indication for Russell Martin and any of the new players about how hard it might be to play for Rangers if you're not up to it, because it's a friendly, you're 2-0 down to a really good team and you're booed off at half time. I must admit, I was tempted, but no, I thought it's only a friendly, just let it go. But some people couldn't, obviously. Thankfully, the second half was much better. He made 4 or 5 changes. Butland came in and goal. He made 4 or 5 changes. By Rami came on. Bailey Rice came on. McCausland, I can't remember if he came on at the start or halfway through the second half. I don't want to see guys like that ever again. McCausland, I mean, come on. So anyhow, much better second half. They made a few changes as well. We made more changes halfway through the second half, so it's hard to keep track who played when. But basically, by Rami, empty jersey, by Rami, actually did a few good things, and he even created the last minute equaliser. So good on him, but I still don't want to see him here for the rest of the season. We played better, more aggressive, more passing, quicker, got up the wing, especially the right wing, quite a few times. So yeah, the second half was better. We even got to see Man Mountain, Emmanuel Fernandez coming on, and he did a few decent passes from the back, but it's hard to tell if he's any good in terms of tackling or defensive headers or whatever. So he'll need a few more games to prove that he can do it. Tavernier unfortunately came on and played beside him, so we don't want to make a habit of that, shoehorning him into the central defence because he can't play in the right back position these days. So that wasn't promising, but we did play better. Not the equaliser. The first goal came when Cortez dispossessed the guy, ran up the wing, lovely cut back over across the box, and there was Diamandi, who was the best guy in the second half, to just guide it into the far corner. Low shot, just slotted into the far corner. Really nice goal. So that got us back into it. Didn't look as if we were going to equalise though. And then, 89th minute, Bayrami got the ball on the halfway line, just inside the half, ran up the field right through the middle. Guys trying to foul him, tried to tackle him. He amazed me by actually staying on his feet and showing a bit of grit and determination, which is not in his nature. And then when he's in the box, he could have shot, but just side-footed it to young Finlay Curtis, who was unmarked to the left of him, onside. Gave it to him, and he just passed it into the far corner. A really nice finish. So we managed to scramble a 2-each draw out of potential 5-6-0 at one point. So not a good run out, not a lot to get excited about, nothing to get excited about. Nobody made us think, oh, he could be a player. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing him in a real game. Nothing like that. No sign of the pressing that we were promised from the new manager, or the pace, or the energy, or the ability and the willingness to get the ball back quickly once you've lost it, all that kind of stuff. It was the same kind of pedestrian stuff in the whole as last year, year before that. So I'm trying to forget all that and just say, look, 2 weeks of training, what are we going to expect? It'll be better the next couple of weeks, next 3 weeks, and it's got to be a lot better by the time we play Panathinaikos in about 3 weeks' time, I think it is. Hopefully by then we'll have maybe Cody signed and the Wolves guy on loan. Rothwell will be playing in midfield, so will our guard. So get these new guys in. We need a couple of strikers, obviously, that this game proved that, with apparently Drosser's injured, not up to playing, and Igaman couldn't get back in the country due to visa problems. Isn't that typical of us? These two would have been at least in the squad, according to the manager post-match, but they weren't available. So Danilo up front with these two guys either side of him, that's never going to produce goals. So hopefully the manager and the director of football, etc., will now know for sure that if we let Drossers go and Igaman go for big money, we must get a couple of new strikers, and we really need new strikers. Even if they stay, I would say we need one new striker. So let's use some of our money and get the Israeli striker in, Turgeman, because if he's any good, he should go straight into that team with Igaman playing off him if he's still here by the time the season starts. So at least we had that reinforced for us this afternoon, that we really need a couple of strikers, whether the other two go or not, because Danilo is not the answer. And let's hope we've seen the back of Leon King, Proper, Dowell, McCausland. Redvan came on about 20 minutes to go, didn't look any better than he had last season. So there's all sorts of people like that we need to get rid of ASAP, and let's hope the new blood can actually turn our hopes into reality once they get started and the manager has another 2-3 weeks or whatever to get his system into their heads and in practice when it comes to actual games. So 2-each draw, well done for that, coming back from 2-0 down, but instantly forgettable. I don't even know if I'll watch it back on Rangers TV tomorrow. But this is my first report of the new season, not the one I was hoping to make, but let's hope the next one I make, which will be after the Panathinaikos game at home, is a far more cheerful and optimistic report with a sign of maybe better times ahead of us.